I had a dream one night of my mother, and she was sitting in a circle of elders, and they were using sage to smudge themselves, to cleanse themselves. And their prayers were rising up with the smoke of the sage. And one of the elders turned to my mother and said, "This is the smoke of your ancestors." And so every time I use sage, we remember our mother and their mother and their mother's mother. So, and when you see the smoke of the sage, it's the spirit of the sage showing herself to us. So, yeah, beautiful medicine, sacred earth, right? So, thank you again for coming this day. My name is Ivory, and I've been sharing my journey of Delorosa Road. So, I think it's a challenge to share it, but also maybe to receive it. But here we go, and I'm going to read the writing that came so many years ago, 30 maybe, yeah. I stand at the crossroads where the church for sale rests. I play a game of cards, a game of chance with the devil, or is it the dark side of God? I have 4 directions I can take. All have pitfalls, all demand of me, some more than others. As I leave the church, I can see the cross on the top of the steeple looming over me, drawing me into itself. Immediately, I find myself walking down Delorosa Road, the road of sorrows, the road of suffering. My anger yells out, "When do I get my reward for following you?" I yell and scream again in anger, "Where is my reward?" As Delorosa Road calls me deeper into itself. And I break down and weep as I hear the voice of the Christ say, "Did you think it would be anything less?" For the Christ is always present in the brokenness of life. I cry out, "Why? Why?" As I hear the Christ say, "It is the only way to life, dear." And I weep, seeing only a sure death before me. Delorosa Road, Delorosa Road. Is there no other road to take? I yell out, "No wonder so many I once knew have left this road." Some practice daily meditation, some Buddhism, some New Age, and some prosperity religions. Surely there is good in all of these, but I watch in confusion, as it seems for them there is no Delorosa Road. Why me? I cry out again. I too am tempted to take another road that appears easier. Delorosa Road, Delorosa Road, will you, the Christ, accompany me? Bittersweet is your calling. Delorosa Road, Delorosa Road. The broken-hearted walk down Delorosa Road. Oh, Delorosa Road, Delorosa Road, your darkness invades me as I walk weeping with the Christ down Delorosa Road, the road of sorrows, the road of suffering. Mm. Mm. So to continue from the last video I sent, my sisters and I and 60 others on that tour, in the back, the 4 of us, 3 of us, and another lady, the back of that cave. And Father Ferneuf saying at the end, "Oh, by the way, this is where oral tradition says, that Jesus was walking with a beam on his back and full of blood. And as he walked, the woman stepped out as he stopped and turned his head, and she wiped his face with a rag and stepped back. And he said at that moment as well, and this is on Delorosa Road, this is what took place. And so I was aware that's where I was. And sure enough, when we left the stone space we were in, there was a sign that said Delorosa Road. So I want to share a little bit of where this journey is taking me. And I find it's interesting. I remember an elder telling me many years ago, the last part of us to heal is the body. And I thought, interesting. And it feels that way for me, because as I journey down this Delorosa Road following this ragged, bloodied man in front of me with this beam on his back, calling me forth, I feel myself going deeper and deeper into my own body, which really takes me to my mother line, which is a very interesting thing, because as I began to follow this, tracking the spirit in my life, um, in my dreams, in my day-to-day moments, I realized that Jesus had shown himself to me so long ago on that shamanic weekend as a shaman, Jesus the shaman. And so that has really, I can feel that flavor, that river, slowly moving through me. And sure enough, this thing came up, and it's an article I'll send at the end, and it's a gentleman writing on Jesus as shaman, and I have this sense of looking for this healer, this shaman. This is what, in the end, one can. The doctors do what they can. It's limited. All the systems are limited, but going to that healer source, the shaman source. So it's interesting that he's come to me as shaman, which again is connected to my mother roots. And so my mother has been coming to me. My father is a rich, unknown mystic who really carries um, that mystical heart in me. But my mother, being, and I'm going to say it, a half breed. Now, I say that because my neighbors would call my mother a half breed, and I didn't know as a child what it meant. And it was derogatory, of course. So I had to really come to a place inside me of even embracing that, and embracing that part of me, before colonialism, kind of darkened all of that. So I feel very deeply in the body, in my mother roots, in the earth, walking down a cobblestone road, following whatever this ailing body is showing to me. So I'm becoming aware of the organs, and their speaking, and their, what they're going through, which is my Sundance here, looking for healing in this Sundance. Ultimately, I feel this is the route to go at this time. But wanting to thank everyone, all those prayers being weaved again, I really feel that. And I hope that we are able to be that for one another in one another's journeys, eh? So, again, doing all of this in honor of those who are new in our life, and also my own ancestors. So, um, hmm, yeah. So some weeks ago, as I continued to um, honor what was taking place inside me and in my life, I began to hear again I'm sure you've heard it, the Lord of the Dance, it's called, and it's all about, I am the Lord of the Dance. I'll put the link at the end. And I was hearing this as I was going through, these nighttime spasms, and maybe I'll share a little more of that in another video. But I was hearing this and wondering, well, how in the heck is this happening? And I had been sent Tainat Han, embracing our suffering, which is very much the path of my mother's ways. You embrace everything because it's all holy and of the earth and of the elements. So there I was, like, hearing this song as I journeyed in this deep, deep place. And what began to happen is, it's almost like seeing through the cracks of the cobblestone a little bit of light showing through, a little bit of, don't despair, is what this beautiful woman sent to me. You are loved with the fierceness of the mother Gaia. Creator is leading the way. Don't despair. I will pray. Very sacred to hear that. Don't despair. Became a mantra. Don't despair to my organs. And so as I journey in this and I hear this song, I went for a beautiful session. This is Jailene. Thank you. And at the end, she had me pick a card from a deck she has. And what I picked was celebrate. And, and I had had a fierce, brutal night. And I thought, well, that's interesting. And then she picked Michael. And so, again, as I went home, I thought, well, here it is, I am the Lord of the Dance. There's a place in there, and it speaks of two, as we embrace the suffering, the joy will burst through. It just has no choice, because on the other side of what we perceive as death is life staring back at us. So I feel, as the prayers, as I journey, as I, embrace and continue, there's a light shining through. And I want to thank everyone, because I do feel that sense of the prayers are what weaves us. The prayer is what lifts us, as we become a global community, a loving, compassionate community for one another, no matter what we're living in. So, again, Delorosa Road, a very sacred place, sacred road. Continue to walk down that road and honor our ancestors and the new ones now. Blessings to all of you. I am Ivory, and this is who I am.